Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation. Yes, the introduction kind of gave my first two sentences away. I am from Canada. I've come a long way to be here with you today. And I have a lot of energy because this keynote I'm going to deliver to you today is the first time I've ever delivered it. You are the first audience that is going to hear my strategies, systems, and processes that I use to build customer-obsessed companies, and to accelerate my team to deliver an experience my customers have never seen before. It was 10 years ago that I was introduced to the concept of customer experience management. And for 10 years, I've been focused on customer experience to build businesses. First, as an employee of a company, and now, just like you, as entrepreneurs. After being introduced to the concept of customer experience management, I soon recognized that customer experience and employee engagement must live in harmony together. They cannot live in isolation. When I first started using customer experience to build businesses, I was in my early 20s. You can guess at how old I am now, but it's not much older than that. It was the thing that I was going to use to build a career. I worked for a medium-sized organization, and we built systems and processes to earn that customer loyalty. 6 years ago, I left the company that I was working for to start a customer experience and employee engagement advisory firm. I named that company Falcon Consulting Group. How many people do you think were a part of this group? One person, and that was me. Where do you think this company's head office was? At 2892 Mount Seymour Parkway. That is the address of my mother and father's house. My desk was my parents' kitchen table. Now, that's not the most embarrassing part. The most embarrassing part is when I would be on the phone trying to secure a client to earn revenue, and your dog starts barking in the background. And having to tell the client, yes, it's bring your dog to work day at Falcon Consulting Group. Please ignore the dog barking in the background. I came from very humble beginnings. The tipping point in my career was when I had Verizon Wireless call me and ask me to help them with their customer experience. Verizon Wireless is a company that does $100 billion a year in sales. They're the largest telecommunications company in the United States. Next was Blue Cross Blue Shield. They are one of the biggest insurance companies in North America. And then franchisees of McDonald's asked me to host private workshops for their employees to elevate their customer experience and create an experience that their customers have never seen before. I still host some workshops. I do the keynote speaking, obviously, but what me and my business partners do now is we own a hospitality company. We own 4 restaurants in downtown Toronto. We have nearly 400 employees. We do tens of millions of dollars in revenue, and we've been able to achieve that success because of our customer experience and our employee engagement. And I'm going to share the strategies and tactics that we use today to earn that customer and employee loyalty. Why do I open this keynote by explaining what I've been doing for the past 10 years? Because you and I are alike. Regardless of whether you are in telecommunications, insurance, quick service restaurant, automotive, or hospitality, we are all in the people business. And it is our people, our internal people, our employees, and our external people, our customers, that we must leverage to create experiences that our customers and team members have never seen before, and create customer-obsessed companies. During our time together, I'm going to share how I build customer-obsessed teams. It's something that I'm methodically concentrated on. It's one of my core responsibilities as a partner in my hospitality company. I'm going to share 3 tactics, that operational improvement strategies and tactics to continuously improve our customer experience quarter over quarter and year over year. I'm going to share the 5 roadblocks you're going to have to overcome to ensure you become a customer-obsessed company. And then the most fun part for me, ladies and gentlemen, is live Q&A. If you have a question about any of the strategies or tactics I present to you today, please write it down, put it in your phone, or memorize it because I want to answer your questions. I have time for about 10 or 15 minutes of questions. If I don't get to your question, I am not leaving this complex until I answer every single one of your questions. If you think of a question in a week, a year, 10 years, I don't care. I'm going to share my email address with you. It's actually right there. No, it's not. That's my website and my Twitter handle. Either way, get in contact with me. I want to answer your questions for you. But to be able to deliver an experience to you that you've never seen before, and in a keynote you've never seen before, I need you to match my energy. I am leaving every single ounce of energy I have on this stage, but I need you to match my energy. Can you do that? Thank you. Let's get started. I'm going to show you 3 logos. I need you to think, what comes to mind when I see these logos? The first is Disney. What comes to mind when you see Disney's logo? What type of words is coming to mind? How about this company, the Ritz-Carlton? What words are coming to mind when you see this logo? And lastly, Starbucks. What words are coming to mind when you see this logo? I just mentioned a moment ago, I need you to match my energy. So who is willing to share what words have come to mind? Right here, sir.
Ritz-Carlton is on hospitality.
Hospitality, okay.
Disney is on cartoons.
Okay, yeah, you're not wrong. Absolutely.
And Starbucks is on customer service in variety of not just coffee, is the extension of coffee.
So it's the experience and the product. Fantastic. Who else wants to tell me what words came to mind when I showed you those logos? Happiness. Happiness, fantastic. Customer first, one more person. What words came to mind? Gentlemen, sir, right here. Trust. Luxury, trust, fantastic. Did you notice that nobody said, I wonder what font Disney uses in their logo? Nobody said Starbucks logo is green, and nobody said there was a lion in the Ritz-Carlton's logo. Why? Your logo is not your brand. Your logo is a representation of the experiences you deliver to your customers and to your employees. What do you want your customers and your team members to think and feel when they see your logo? Do you want them to think, I wonder what font that is? Or do you want them to think, that's a customer-obsessed company? One thing I know very well is that we don't really know what customer experience is. We have a really, really good idea, but are we all aligned? Everyone in your company, not just the team here, but every single person. I want you to turn to the person next to you and answer that question. You have 10 seconds. If somebody asked you, what is customer experience? What would you tell them? You have 10 seconds. And I'll give you 3, 2, and 1. How many people, raise your hand, had the exact same answer as the person next to them, word for word? Nobody. That is a common theme amongst organizations across all industries, big and small, is that alignment. How can we improve something if we don't have alignment behind what it is? If you went to any of my restaurants, and I hope if any of you are in Toronto, you have my contact information, I would love to welcome you. But if you went to any of my restaurants and went to a dishwasher, a hostess, a bartender, a server, a general manager, and asked what's customer experience, they could recite it like that word for word. How I train my team is customer experience is the sum of all interactions your customers experience when doing business with you from beginning to end. Customer experience is so difficult because each one of those interactions could be managed by a different department. I have servers, bartenders, hostesses, line cooks. You have sales professionals, service professionals, people in finance. How can we improve something if we don't have alignment behind what it is? A little exercise for you when you get home. Walk around your business. Ask 3 different people at random, what is customer experience? If you do not hear the same answer, then you have an opportunity to improve and create a module in your training program on the definitions of what customer experience, customer centricity, and customer obsession are. I like statistics. If you ever went into my office, you'd see statistics everywhere. By the year 2020, customer experience will overtake price and product as the key brand differentiator. Pretty aligned with your goals of 2 million cars by the year 2020. I have a goal as well too. By the year 2020, my partnership team want to get into the hotel business. We aspire to create a boutique hotel. And to be able to achieve that goal, I always have to remind my partners, and we have to hold each other accountable, that it's customer experience that is going to allow us to enter a market regardless of what our industry is. This is the quote that I love. It's posted by my desk. 55% of consumers would pay more for a better customer experience. It varies in markets and by country. This is the North American statistic, or maybe the Canadian statistic. I'm not 100% sure. But this is great. We're in the premium and luxury market. We should love this statistic. You sell beautiful cars. I sell expensive steak and expensive wine. Again, remember, regardless of what we sell, we are in the people business. We must obsess over our customers and obsess over the way that we onboard our employees. What is the return on investment? Return on investment of customer experience. I was asked this a lot when I first started because people didn't really understand what customer experience was. I think we understand what it is now, but these are some of the things that I rally behind. An increase in revenue and profitability. How are you going to increase revenue and profitability? By becoming customer obsessed? Through organic growth. Organic growth is something I obsess over. Organic growth is defined by the revenue that a company earns through repeat customers and referral-based marketing. Customers are not going to come back and buy vehicles from you if you don't deliver a world-class customer experience and one that they've never seen before. That is how you achieve organic growth. How is that going to make you profitable? Because if you do not have to advertise as much traditionally to your customers, they just come back on their own because of the experience that they delivered, that increases your profitability because you're not having to spend a lot to acquire that same customer. I believe that if you're truly a customer-obsessed company, you will achieve higher employee engagement and efficiency. Why? Because your team is going to be proud of the organization that they work for, because your customers are going to tell them, I love doing business with your company. And if employees are more engaged, they will become more efficient. If they're more efficient, they'll sell more vehicles. Brand recognition and admiration. We respect and admire companies like Amazon and the Ritz-Carlton. They're truly customer-obsessed companies. Amazon's slogan, and you can Google this, and it was created when they first started in 1997, is to be Earth's most customer-centric company. That is what they built their brand on. What do you want your customers and team members to think and feel when they see your logo? Making price secondary is the game that I'm in. Like I said, I sell expensive wine and food that comes at a premium as well too. My team's opportunity is to deliver them an experience their customers have never seen before, so that price is secondary in the mind of the customer. They're buying the experience. The product comes next. This is a picture of one of my restaurants. It opened on December 7th, 2016, and it is called Borrow. It's our latest location. And this was our challenge. Our challenge was that it was 4 floors and 16,000 square feet with 100 employees. We needed to hire 100 employees in a 60-day period before we opened a 16,000 square foot restaurant. The first floor is the main dining room with a bar, a kitchen. The second floor is a cocktail lounge with another kitchen and a private nightclub. The third floor is an event space where companies like Nike will host their company events. The fourth floor is a rooftop patio with another 4,000 square feet. Oh, and there's also a catering division to the business as well too. Does that sound like your business a little bit as well too? Pretty complex, many different moving parts, a lot of people. Our mission, this is the first sentence of our mission statement. Our mission at Borrow is simple, is to deliver a seamless customer experience. I wanted to make the mission statement simple because I want the luxury of being able to walk around my business and ask anyone in it, what's our mission? One sentence, make it nice and clean so anybody can recite it. Here's the 5-step employee engagement plan that I created and had my general manager execute. The first is we must recruit methodically. I believe in recruiting internally before externally for one primary reason. I'm a very cheap person. I don't like to spend money when I don't have to. Why? Because I believe in people, process, and profit. Recruiting internally is much more profitable than recruiting externally. Let me explain. If I need to hire somebody, regardless of position, at any of my locations, the first thing I do is create a job description. Then I'm going to share it with my highest performing team members and ask them, do you know a friend, a family member, a former colleague that fits this job description? Next, I'm going to go to my vendors and business partner. How do I know that the vendor that sells me steak and wine, how do I know that they don't know who my next assistant general manager is? The third thing I do to recruit internally is I ask my best customers. I have loyal customers just like you do as well too, and I share the job description with them. That is how we found one of our general managers, is through our best customer. Think about your business. How can you recruit customer-centric, customer-obsessed team members to elevate your business and accelerate it, to be able to create an experience your customers have never seen before? I onboard memorably. If you're going to listen to one thing and one thing only, make it this. If you want to have your team members give themselves to your customers, you must first give yourself to them. During the interview process, I ask this question: what is an indulgence or a treat that you can't live without that costs less than $20? I want you to think about that. What is a treat you cannot live without that costs less than $20? Who has an answer for me? My answer is Toblerone chocolate. You know those big Swedish chocolate, the squares? That's my answer. What's your answer? An indulgence you can't live without that costs less than $20. Do you have something in mind? Yes. Could I get the microphone over there? So hopefully it's legal. Just joking.
Massage.
Pistachio. Good answer. What about pistachio ice cream? Do you like pistachio ice cream too or no? Oh, ice cream on the side. Oh, a massage. Okay, that works. So, sir, let's say I hired you as my bartender. On day 1, you're going to have somebody on our management team waiting for you 15 minutes before you arrive with your uniform, with your employee documents, with your login information. Everything will be prepared for you so you can have a great first day. Then you're going to get a handwritten card, and I'm going to sign it. My business partners will sign as well too and say, welcome to the family. And then you're also going to have a gift certificate as well too to get you that massage that you said that you could not live without. If you want your team members To give themselves to your customers, you must give yourself to them first. I have seen my team members get so emotionally invested to the brand that they'll say, step aside, let me go build lifelong relationships for your customers. And as the entrepreneur, that is music to my ears because I can take a step back and allow them to do good work. I train exceptionally. I spend a lot of money in training and development and time. I actually don't spend a lot of time or energy marketing traditionally because I learned something from Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, former CEO of Starbucks, founder as well too. I'm paraphrasing his quote, but he says something like this: people think Starbucks is a great advertiser, but we actually advertise very little. We take what most companies spend on traditional advertising and reinvest it into our training experience. It's our team members that drive customers into our stores because of the experience that they deliver. It's a great way of being able to deliver an experience your customers have never seen before, but you must first support your team members with the education, high-level education, not just look your customer in the eye. We knew to do that 50 years ago. What I train my team members on, what's the difference between customer service and customer experience? What does organic growth mean? How do you achieve service endurance? Service endurance is being able to deliver the same level of service to the 20th or the 100th customer of the day as you did the first. How do you help them achieve that? And then I also outline how to identify different customer personality types, because I cannot deliver the same level of service to you as I would to you. What resonates with you might be different than what resonates with this gentleman right here. You must be able to help your team members identify different customer personality types to deliver custom and tailored customer experiences. And lastly, the ownership mentality. This is not a coincidence. The ownership mentality is something that has been a part of my businesses for a couple years now. I didn't just include this in the slide because that's also something that you are trying to embed into the DNA of your company. The ownership mentality is one of our core values. What you're looking at behind me is the apron that our team members wear. The 5 core values and the first sentence of our mission statement are stitched into the inside of the apron. So the customer can't see it, but it's a constant reminder to our team why we are here and what our purpose is. Our core values are celebration, ownership, foresight, humility, and integrity. We also have the core values stitched in our employee bathrooms. They're deckled on the bottom of the mirror. We have them printed at the bottom of their paycheck. You cannot escape our core values. And we recruit according to our core values as well too. We ask questions to identify during the recruiting process if that individual has the ownership mentality. If they don't, you go work for somewhere else, you're not coming into our company. These are the results for our one location. 76.5% employee retention rate. The industry that I operate in has a 30% retention rate. We are more than double that. And we have over 90% satisfaction scores, and this is quarter over quarter. This pays. Customer experience pays. If you're retaining employees, that means you're not spending a lot on recruiting and training. This is an investment into your business. This is not a cost. The 3 strategies that I use at every one of our locations that impacts all of our customers, and we have tens of thousands of customers and hundreds of employees. The first one is my favorite, and I've been asked to speak about it today, and it's delivering micro customer experiences. A micro customer experience is a small, memorable, and affordable gesture that you do for your customers that resonate with them for years. It's a message that's going to hit home that no advertising strategy could ever retain with them. It's something that they tell their friends and family members for years. Let me give you an example of a company called Warby Parker. I highly recommend you take the piece of paper in front of you or your phone and write the name of this company down, Warby Parker. It's the company I am learning from the most. Warby Parker sells glasses. They sold me these glasses. 5 years ago, the company did not exist. Today, they are valued at over $1 billion, and it's partly because of this. A customer orders a pair of glasses online in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States. The customer shows up to the nearest retail location to pick up her glasses, and the employee says, "How's your day going?" The alert employee recognizes that this customer is not having a good day. Maybe it was her body language, I'm not 100% certain, but she recognized this customer is not having a good day. She asks, "How's your day going?" The customer says, "Not too good. I had my car stolen yesterday. I could really use a beer. I'm here to pick up my glasses." The employee does what we train every employee to do, and that's show empathy. She helps the customer, gives her glasses, and off the customer goes. 2 days later, the customer gets this in the mail from Warby Parker. It's a handwritten note that says, "Hey Tess, we are so sorry to hear about your car. Since you probably won't be the designated driver anytime soon, here's a round on us. Love your friends at Warby Parker. P.S. Your Durand frames look amazing." Inside that handwritten card is a $20 gift certificate to a local microbrewery, so that customer could get that beer that she said she needed in passing. She said it very quickly. But this happens because Warby Parker recruits customer-centric individuals. You are asking your team members, your employees, to care about a stranger. Asking them to deliver exceptional customer experiences, asking them to care about a stranger. Not everyone can do that. You need to have it in your DNA to care about a stranger and deliver an experience that your customers have never seen before. Warby Parker is able to do this because they give them autonomy. This employee didn't need to go to her boss or head office and say, "This is the story, am I allowed to do this?" No, they have an operating budget to do this and give them the green light to do these things because they trust their people and they trust they're going to do the right thing. That's a pretty good story. The best part is this. BusinessInsider.com, Mashable.com, and the HuffingtonPost.com all picked up on this story and wrote about it. Collectively, those three websites get tens of millions of views per month. To get into any of those websites and have your story told, you would need to pay a PR agency tens of thousands of dollars per month. Warby Parker did this by hiring exceptional people and delivering micro customer experiences and $20. What would you rather do? Pay tens of thousands or $20? We know what the answer is. At our restaurant, we deliver micro customer experiences all the time, and we encourage our team members to compete with each other. Just about a week ago, we had a customer join us, and she had too many drinks the night before, so she was a bit hungover. She asked our server, "Do you have any hamburgers on the menu? I could really use a hamburger." Unfortunately, we didn't, but what we did do was we had one of our hostesses run across the street, go to a local burger place, buy her a $20 gift certificate, and when we handed her the bill after she finished eating with us, there was a $20 gift certificate so that she could cross the street or save the gift certificate for another time so she could get that burger that she said she wanted in passing. These are the things that you need to be training your team members to do, but it's on you as their leader to give them the green light to do that. You can't have any barriers between the customer and your employee. If you're worried about what your employees are going to do, then you're not hiring correctly. I obsess over what I call customer intelligence. Customer intelligence is the same thing as customer data or customer feedback. Customer intelligence is the information you collect to create a customized experience for your customers. This is a picture of one of my bars in one of our restaurants. We train every single employee, whether you're customer facing or not, to listen. Listen and take action on what you have heard. We've been training our team members to listen for decades. Listening is a very cheap skill set. You must train your team members to listen and take action. Christian is one of our bartenders. He has a customer that visits him once a week at one of my locations. Through conversation and active listening, the customer mentioned to Christian, when I travel with my wife, I like to buy shot glasses that have the name of the city on it that I visited. Christian retained the information, spoke to our hostess and said, can you please put it in our CRM system that Mr. Johnson collects these shot glasses when he travels. Christian was on his way to San Diego, a city in the United States, with his girlfriend or spouse or somebody. And as he was leaving, our hostess said, don't forget to buy a little shot glass that says San Diego on it for your customer. He did. He returned back to the city, and when the customer came next time, it was waiting for him on his table. This happens because Christian listens. He takes action on the customer intelligence he's heard. Collaboration, our hostess helped him deliver that information, so Christian's set up for success. And that's how you build customer-obsessed companies, by working together and leveraging the information that you have. Your CRM system, remember what CRM stands for: Customer Relationship Management. It's not just a tool to store your customer's first and last name. You must create a little notes section in your CRM program for each customer and take notes on them, ones that you can leverage to build an experience they have never seen before. Every single quarter, every single 3 months, me and my partners and our management team will get together for an off-site meeting, and we are trying to identify pain points in the hospitality industry. A pain point is when a customer must exhaust a lot of energy to do business with you. You must be easy to do business with. That is why digital technology is so important right now, because it provides an expedited level of service. I know this to be true. I'm your target market, am I not? I'm in the same age demographic, probably make the same amount of income you need me to purchase your cars. I'm telling you this firsthand. As a consumer, not as your keynote speaker, I will speak for my generation. If you make me work to buy off of you, I am going to see what your competitors have to offer. The worst thing is having to work to spend money with the company. Make it a seamless experience by leveraging technology. That is what my generation is after. I want you to think about your industry. In my industry, a pain point is delivering the bill to our customer. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time because we're busy. Sometimes it might take a little while to process payment. So what we're looking at is how can we leverage applications so that the customer can just pay on their phone and just walk out without even saying anything. I want you to think about your industry. From beginning to end, what are some pain points in the industry that you need to remove between now and the year 2020? Take a moment to think about it. Where are your customers spending a lot of time to do business with you? Does anybody have anything that come to mind right now? There's a gentleman over there. Could we get on the opposite side? If you could stand up.
Opening of job cards.
Say that again.
Opening of service job cards in workshop.
Okay. What do you think the industry needs to do, or the company needs to do, to remove that pain point?
A customer can open his job card himself online or through tablet. What my person is doing,
Okay.
service advisor is doing, customer can do himself. If we provide him online support, or we can offer him the tablet at my workshop, customer can open his workshop job card himself.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I do this every single quarter. The thing about customer experience is that it never ends. Unless you think your customers' behaviors will never change and their expectations are always going to stay the same, then you don't have to do anything, ever. But we know that that's not true. Customers' expectations and behaviors change year over year. You have to stay ahead of them. Not just them, but your competitors as well too. Get there first. That's something that I'm obsessed about, is identifying pain points in the industry, and I want to be the first to remove that pain point in the industry, because then I'm going to be a market leader year over year. There are 5 instances where brands go wrong with customer experience, regardless of your industry and regardless of how much effort you put forward. The first is lack of trust and ownership. You must trust each other as colleagues and trust your team to do the right thing. Give them the green light to have ownership over the customer experience. It's going to inspire and motivate them, and it's going to make your life easier. But it starts with how you recruit and how you interview and onboard your team members. Hire people you trust. Hire people that you know have the customer centricity DNA, and take a step back and allow them to do good work. I can tell you firsthand, ever since I changed my mentality years ago about that and hired effectively and gave my team members the green light, my level of stress has gone down because I trust my team. Companies that neglect digital behaviors will go out of business. It's just a matter of time. You might be on life support for 3 years or 5 years, but you cannot neglect how consumers' behaviors and expectations are changing. You cannot wait for the change to happen and then figure out what you're going to do. Be inventive. Imagine what service is going to be like for the year 2020 and beyond. Get there first. I'm not going to move around for this one because this one is vitally, vitally important. Quality versus quantity. 2 million cars by the year 2020. I know this very well in my industry, in your industry, and any industry, is when there's massive growth, quality suffers. We live quarter over quarter, month over month, and we're happy because we're hitting our sales numbers, but then a year goes by, 2 years goes by, and we realized we were thinking short term. We were celebrating success because we sold quantity, but the quality or the lack of quality will always catch up to you. Do not give your competitors an opportunity to beat you on quality. You must always deliver a 5-star level of service each and every time. If customer experience was so easy, everyone would focus on it. But you are on an ambitious plan to sell 2 million cars by the year 2020, and you will. But you need to ensure that your entire team is focused on quality just as much as they are, if not more, on quantity. Going back on the theme of customer experience not being easy, consistency. If you deliver a world-class customer experience, one that I've never seen before, I'm going to label you a customer-obsessed company. But guess what? The next time I buy a vehicle from you, or if I recommend my family member or friend should buy a vehicle from you too, that first time you deliver a great experience is now the bare minimum. You always have to get better. I have customers that come every week to have a drink, eat a steak, or have something to eat. My team needs to be that good week over week to deliver a better experience each and every time. I can tell you right now, it's not easy. But if business was easy, wouldn't we all be entrepreneurs and business leaders? Transactional relationships are for quick service restaurants. They are not for businesses like mine or like yours. You have a luxury of having your customers' undivided attention for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. I've worked with automotive companies before. I know that sometimes customers like to hang out there because you give them free coffee and free cookies, right? But you have their undivided attention. What a luxury to build a lifelong relationship with your customers. Transactional businesses, companies that offer transactional businesses are ones that aren't going to be relevant by the year 2020. Ensure that your team members know how to deliver an experience that is efficient, but still world-class and offers pampering as well too. I was briefed on your values, and the time I saw the pampering one, that immediately pulled me in. Because I'm in the hospitality industry, and I said, I have so much to talk to this audience. Pampering is a beautiful core value to have. Push that forward and make sure that your team knows how to properly pamper them each and every time they speak with the guests. They email them, they text message them. Those are all interactions where they must pamper your guest. I'm going to explain what a day in the life of Michel Falcon looks like. It's exhausting, but I love what I do. 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., I'm studying. I'm studying companies like Warby Parker. I was taught, R&D, research and development. It can also stand for rip off and duplicate. I study other companies, learn what they're doing, and bring it into my business with my own spin on it. Between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m., I'm studying, I'm reading case studies, online, books. Then I go to work. 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever the case is, that's when I execute. That is when I'm building the business. Then I come home, I pet the dog, hang out with my girlfriend, and then back to studying from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Study, study, study. Why? Because I'm very scared of being irrelevant. One of our restaurants, Barrow, was voted the best new restaurant in all of Toronto. Toronto is the 4th largest city in North America. I was happy. I had a glass of wine. The very next day, I forgot about it, and I went straight back to work. Why? Because I don't want to rest on my laurels. You guys are very good right now, and you're going to get even better this year, but be fearful of being irrelevant. Your competitors are coming after your customers, just like my competitors are coming after mine. Do you know this story? We do, right? Blockbuster had $3 billion in revenue, thousands of employees, untouchable. This little company called Netflix come and put them out of business. Nobody would have ever imagined that. I believe 3 or 4 years before Blockbuster went out of business, Netflix went to Blockbuster and said, buy us for $50 million. Netflix is worth, I think, like $30 billion now. Why Blockbuster lost wasn't just because of technology. They rested on their laurels and they neglected one key thing. Customers care about time more than anything. What would you rather do? Get in your car, drive for 20, 15, 30 minutes to the nearest Blockbuster location, go in the store, rent the DVD, go home, 30 minutes, watch the movie, return it, 30 minutes back home. That could take 2 to 3 hours to watch a movie that's an hour and a half. Or would you rather sit on your couch at home and press one button? Blockbuster neglected that time is the game. That is why I focus on pain points, because I don't want my competitors to figure out a way to save customers time faster than I do. The key takeaways for you today and what you can do to go back into your business, I think, I hope that there's been some recognition that I'm not a motivational speaker. When somebody calls me a motivational speaker, I'm like, sometimes I need to be motivated to get out of bed in the morning. I'm not a motivational speaker. I wanted to come here today to tell you what works in my industry because I know they're going to work in yours. I'm very tactical, and I like being a practitioner. getting dirt under my nails and rolling up my sleeves and actually doing the work. These are things that you must do when you get back to your business. Evaluate how you were recruiting. Did you know in my business, if you're going to be a dishwasher or a general manager, you have to go through a 5-step process, which includes 3 interviews with 3 different people. It's very hard to get a job with one of my companies because I protect it. I protect my customers. I do not want misfits in my business. I want customer-obsessed individuals and professionals. Evaluate how you're recruiting. Continuously invest in training, premium training, not just look your customer in the eye and say hello, right? I was taught that when I had my first job when I was 13 years old working at McDonald's. Our frontline employees, the people we trust to deliver experiences to our customers that they've never seen before, must have even better education than we do. Because at the end of the day, your frontline employees will speak to more customers in one day than the owner of the dealership might in a month, a quarter, maybe even in a year. Create micro customer experiences. Create a monthly budget to allow your employees to deliver experiences that your customers have never seen before by listening and taking action. Constantly improve. Every single quarter, you should be looking at your customer journey, your customer path, and identifying an interaction that needs to get better. And lastly, the most fun part, celebrate your success. Don't just celebrate sales goals, celebrate great customer service interactions. That is how you're going to help your team members become customer obsessed, by celebrating their individual success. I warn you though, something that I learned is that not every individual wants to be recognized and celebrated publicly. Some of your team members might want private recognition, one-on-one, not in a big auditorium like this. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you nothing but success. I know you are going to sell 2 million cars by 2020. I believe it. I've met a lot of you today, but I need you to remember one thing. You use this to sell 1 car. Use this to create lifetime customers and sell 2 million vehicles. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Michel, Falcon, that was absolutely outstanding. And now we're going to throw the floor open to question and answers. If any of you have any questions for Michel, now's the right time to ask him.
Before we jump into that, you can visit my website, just my first name, last name.com. If there's 7 strategies in this digital book that I use for every single one of my businesses. It's free, so feel free to type in your email address and then it'll automatically be sent to you. Check your spam folder just in case, might land there. And like I said, we're gonna get into question and answer. If you think of a question in a week or a year, then email me. I'm here to help you. And I believe our first question is right there.
Could you suggest a method which we could adapt to identify customer-centric people?
Yes, it really comes down to the questions that you ask during the interview process. I'll share some of them with you right now. One question that I always ask is, when is the last time that you did something for a stranger when you knew that they couldn't pay you back in return? If the individual's like, well, I held a door open for somebody yesterday, well, don't you do that all of the time? Like, I want to hear the things such as, I saw an elderly woman drop her groceries and I crossed the street to help her. Like, and listen to how quickly they answer your questions. Also this, when you call them to book the interview, how do they answer their phone? Is it polite? Is it professional? If they don't, what's the likelihood that they're going to answer your phone with a professional manner? Listen to their voicemail. I pick up on their emails. How do they write emails? Does it sound cordial? Because if they're not being cordial with you, it's a likelihood that they're going to be cordial with your customers. Those are some of the things that I look for as well too. I also give them an assignment right? If you're a server, I'm gonna, within that 5-step interview process, I say, here are 5 different customer scenarios. Within 24 hours, I want you to return that document to me with exactly how you would handle this, scenario. You know, let's say, what do you do if a customer complains and it's 8 p.m. on a Friday, right? So that's how I identify customer-centric professionals as well, is through the interview process.
All right.
Next question.
Do we have, yeah, right there.
Yeah, so the bedrock of a good employee is perfect interview and perfect recruitment. But how do you define in terms of the incentive versus passion? In our industry, higher the incentive, higher the passion, lower the
Sure.
incentive, lower the passion, and the ownership story flies out of the window.
Yeah.
And the whole success story or bedrock of our customer satisfaction depends on the incentive policy.
Sure. So I go through that as well too, on a different, in a different scenario, right? A lot of my team members, you know, they want tips. They want more tips. The more tips, the higher their engagement. I don't look to hire people and increase their engagement. I try to find engaged people and maintain their motivation. I'm not in the business of being a motivational speaker or an engagement specialist. I need to find those individuals that truly care about something other than themselves. And is it the brand? I told you about the medium-sized company that I used to work for that was based in Vancouver. The reason that I worked for them, and I was making, you know, $10 an hour, which is minimum wage when I first started. The reason why I was so devoted to that company was because I was learning a lot about how to grow businesses. I wanted to be an entrepreneur one day. That was my greatest purpose, and I left money on the table. So what you need to do is during the interview process is understand what is this individual's purpose. Is it just to serve themselves, or are they looking to be a part of something greater than they could ever accomplish on their own? Those are the people that you need to retain within your business. For the individuals that you have in your business right now that you don't feel are customer-centric, you need to give them the opportunity to elevate their game and accelerate it. But at the end of the day, you know, you're not a psychologist, you're not a therapist, right? You have to eventually push those people out of your business.
All right, we're going to take a quick question from this side. Yes?
Hi. Your examples are based on experiences, customer experiences and employee experiences from homogeneous markets and service industries. Can you give some insight on how can we implement this in a country like India where there are different cultures and different expectations from all?
Yeah. So bear with me because I haven't done a whole lot of, you know, I don't know the Indian market as well as you guys do. But the first thing that you have to do before designing your experience is understand expectations. I was listening to one of the executives mention that you guys had some market research. Dig deep into that market research. What do your customers want and what do they need? Customers are very good at telling you what they want, right? They know what they want. The problem with that is that they're going to tell you what they want, you're going to go out and build it, and then when you deliver it to them, they're going to want something else, right? You have to focus on what they need. The problem with that and challenge is that customers don't know what they need until it's presented to them. Let me give you an example. Before the iPod, you used the MP3 player to listen to music. If Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive from Apple had said, "What would you want for your music listening pleasures?" you would have probably said, "Give me an MP3 player that holds 10,000 songs and comes in different colors." That's what you wanted. That's not what you needed. What you needed to better the experience for you was the one feature that they introduced that was different than the MP3 player. That feature, the scroll wheel. Remember, to get from song 1 to 50 with an MP3 player, you had to hold it until your thumb hurt? The MP3 player was a better experience at what you need. It's what you needed, but you didn't know that you needed that. What you need to do as an entrepreneur and business leader is live 5 years out and imagine. What I do with my business partners is we go away to a remote location and we just sit, sometimes with whiskey to get the creative juices flowing a little bit. And we sit and we try to identify what is business going to look like in our industry in 5 years. Let's start designing some stuff and let's get there first. To be able to create those experiences for your market, you need to intimately understand what your customers' expectations are, what they need, and what they want. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. That's where I would start off first, and then get with your team and get very high level and start designing experiences that your customers have never seen before. And I've said this many times, get there first.
All right, we have a question from that end. Yes, Kunal? Can we have a mic there, please?
Where are we? Right here?
Yeah. So, lately what has been happening is that there's a lot of issues with mode of communications. If you see in our industry, what's been happening lately is that you've got emails, you've got WhatsApp, you've got, communications which are in terms of meetings. So what's happening is a lot of time waste, which I believe in, and a lot of vomit of communications. How do you, what do you suggest in terms of refining communication, which would help our employees, which is the first customer to us?
Okay.
How does it help to refine communication to the employees so that whatever we discuss with them, it actually reaches to their minds and they're consistent with what we explain to them. By receiving various ways of mode of communication, it just confuses them. So what's your suggestion on something like this?
For communication with employees and customers, or just employees?
Just employees.
Just employees? It's a good question. How I communicate with my employees is dependent on their learning style. I know when I interview a team member, I ask them, what is your learning style? Are you auditory, are you visual, or are you kinesthetic? Based on the majority of my population's learning style is how I'm going to communicate with them. So for example, I recognized that the majority of my team were visual learners. We hired a videographer to be a part of our entire company to create videos when we come out with a new product, right? We come out with a new menu item for our food or for our bar menu. I would give them we used to give them a piece of paper with the description of what was in that, but it wasn't resonating. And I could have easily said, figure it out, read it 5 times, memorize it. But that's not my form of leadership. I found out information, employee intelligence now, and identified that we needed videos. So that's how we do all of our product learning is through videos now. You have to tailor it, just like you tailor service to your customer, you have to tailor the communication and the education to the population, to your audience. Just because something makes sense for you does not mean that is the way you should deploy it to your team. Ask, right? I have employee advisory boards for every single one of my businesses. It's one member from every department forms a council in my business and meets with me and one of my business partners named Brandon once a month, and we talk about things like this. What type of training do you want? What type of training does your team members want? That's how we keep our ear to the street, to our business, and deliver a great experience to them as well, too. I think we have time for one more question.
Yes, we have time for one more. Can we have the mic there, please? Oh.
And then
Okay,
again,
we're going to take 2. We're going to take 2 questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those questions I can't get to, email address is right there, michelfalcon.com, and I promise I'll respond to you within 1 business day. That's my service level agreement to you.
Michel, we talk about customer obsession, right?
Yes.
Many times, Maruti, all of us. But, customer focus is good. Customer obsession, there's a thin line between these two. And some of the customers, they do have a tendency to exploit the customer obsession.
Okay.
Some of the customers have a tendency to exploit that line.
Okay. Oh, exploit it. I got it. And take you for you're being nice, and they take advantage of you. I don't think the customer is always right. I don't. I don't know who came up with that term. Is the customer always right when they belittle your employees? I can tell you right now, it's a lot easier to find one customer than it is to find one loyal employee and team member. If you have a customer who is going against the systems and processes that you have built for them, and they're trying to take it and take advantage for it, you don't fire them right away, of course not. You re-educate them on the process a couple times. And then at one point, you have to make a decision. Do you want to lose your integrity? Do you want to lose the integrity of your business? You'll find another customer. You always will. Now, I don't want you leaving here thinking that that guy from Canada told me to fire my customers. It's not what I'm saying. You just have to create boundaries for them. Maybe some are going to try to color outside the line. Bring them back to where you need them to be. And just have honest conversations with them. I had a customer one time always come back and send her food back. It was the best steak you could ever imagine. Okay, the first time, I'm okay with that. But I have my eye on you now, right? The second time, have an honest conversation. The third time is when I have to make a decision, right? She's trying to take advantage of me, take advantage of my employees. That's not the business that I'm in. I'm going to deliver a customer experience with a lot of integrity to my customers, and I expect the same back too. It's unfortunate. I have that in my business too, but be proud. Stand proud in front of your business. Serve your customers. Don't let them take advantage of you.
Right, we're taking the last question, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
Could you please tell us how to give micro experiences to customer, which will help us gain more of their heart and mind share?
Yeah, so micro customer experience, in theory, sounds like a beautiful concept. It's hard to make it stick. What I do to make sure that it's sticking is I create competition amongst my team members. I'll have an incentive for them. Whoever has the best micro customer experience will win X. Maybe a paid day off, something like that. But I want my team members to be so customer obsessed that they compete with each other in a friendly manner. That has worked for me. But two, I told you about the videographer. Whenever I have, and you could do this on your phone, you don't need a professional videographer. Whenever I have a team member deliver an amazing customer experience and micro experience to my customers, I have one of my team members or managers sit with the employee and record a video on how did you do it? What did you do? Why did you do it? How did you know it was the right thing to do? And then I share that video, that little interview with my entire team, and then it just starts, they start rallying behind it. They want to deliver the better micro customer experience. And as leaders of your company, it's a great place to be because you get to take a step back, like I said, and just let good people do amazing work and earn customer loyalty and sell 2 million cars in 1 year. Thank you very much, everybody.